This is the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire Podcast, the only sex podcast for 7- and 8-figure conscious leaders who want to embody their pleasure and to have the best sex of their lives. I'm Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach in the world, and your host today. Welcome back to the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire Podcast. It's Tilly Storm, and I wanted to remind you, quick update before we dive into today's topic, that the Sexy Feminine Leadership Summit is going live June 12th, and it will run through the 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the United States. Might be different days if you're in Australia or Asia. And you can sign up for that summit at the link in the show notes. This summit is featuring 19 top experts in the fields of feminine leadership, embodiment, wealth creation, business, spirituality, sexuality, and relationships. And I couldn't be more excited to bring this forth. This has been such a passion project that I've been working on since the very beginning of April. And I am so excited that it is almost here. If you haven't registered yet, you're going to totally miss out if you don't. You do have to register for the summit to listen to the talks and the speakers. And this isn't just a bunch of speakers that you're going to go listen to. Every single one of the speakers on the summit has an amazing gift for free that they're going to be giving you. So I encourage you to go sign up, because some of them are giving away free sessions. Some of them are giving away their most valuable resources. Some of them have made valuable resources exclusive to people who attend the summit. So you can't just go on their website, look it up, and it's there. It's just for the people on the summit. So it's going to be super, super special. If you haven't signed up, head to the link in the profile now and sign up so you don't miss out. All right, now we're going to head into our topic for the day. Energy healing. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have done over 700 pleasure assessment calls. This is my version of a discovery call for people who want to understand what's going on in their sex life and relationship, and to find out what their specific blocks and obstacles are and how they can overcome them. I've been doing these assessment calls since I first started, and they are for free. And you can sign up for one if you haven't done one with me yet. That's available at the link in the show notes as well. But I've done over 700 of these calls, and there are so many things that I learn about people, and some of the silly ways that they think they're going to resolve some of these issues that I want to bring to light, so that more people do not waste their time and they don't go spending all of this money and trying all of these things that aren't going to work to actually resolve their issues with their sex life, their incapacity to experience pleasure in the bedroom in the way that they desire and want, who, maybe they experience lack of desire or libido, and they're doing all of these things to try and awaken their sexuality. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, people do this? Oh my God, if they only knew the right path, if they only knew the things that actually worked to create changes. And I don't honestly know where they're getting these ideas from. Of like, oh, I'll just go see an energy healer and they'll fix and awaken my sacral chakra and they'll align my chakra and everything will be fine. Sorry to break it to you, sweethearts. That ain't how it works, okay? It ain't how it works. All right, there's some of my Louisiana sass coming out, but it's just true, okay? Your energy healer is not going to fix your limiting experience of pleasure and sex or your terrible patterns around relationships. Boom, mic drop. Can we just be done there? I wish we could, but women don't seem to be getting the memo. They don't seem to get the message, because so freaking many of these women I have talked to on these pleasure assessments. Oh, I've been to this energy healer to help fix my sacral, to awaken my sacral, I thought that would work, and blah, blah, blah. And I've done all these other things with the psychic and my astrology, and I'm a human design. Oh my freaking God. Like, can we just stop with all of this stuff, all of these new age sort of trendy things, or my attachment style, even, like all of it. I get so freaking annoyed at this stuff, because none of this is going to change your experience of pleasure, sex, or the type of relationship partners you are attracting. You actually have to do the work. That is not doing the work. Saying that your energy healer is going to fix it for you is putting the responsibility of your healing and integration on the practitioner herself or himself and not on you. You are not taking responsibility for your life, for your sex life, for your experience of pleasure and orgasm, or for your relationship patterns. If you are saying, I will make her responsible for healing and fixing everything, and I don't have to do anything. No, princess. That is what a princess would say. That is not what a goddamn queen, a grown-ass woman, would say. No one can change your limiting stories, your negative conditioning or your programming, or your big T and little t trauma patterns, but you. And did you know that the only way that you can do that is love? Did you know the only thing that can ever heal anything is unconditional love? If you do not know how to love the parts and the pieces of yourself that you judge, that you criticize, that you hate, that you wish that weren't there, until you have a foundation of total self-love to welcome the parts of you that are most limiting to your experience that you are already aware of, if you do not have that foundation, you will find yourself repeating the patterns again and again until you learn to truly love yourself. Every single part, not just the parts that you want and like, but the parts that you most fear, the parts that you are terrified, utterly terrified to go into and to look at. That is when healing begins. When you are willing to face the deep, darkest recesses of your consciousness and your unconscious mind. Meet them with love and compassion. That is what heals and integrates, not your damn energy healer. Okay, now another reason that energy healing is not going to fix your sex life or relationship is it does not address the parts and the pieces of the unconscious mind who has the limiting story of your sexual and relationship experiences in the first place. All sexuality and relationship issues are imprinted on your unconscious brain, not your energy aura, not all of this stuff. Nope, nope, and nope. Your unconscious mind holds all of the programming and the conditioning. You could believe in your mind, in your logical thinking mind, your cortex, you could believe all of these stories about yourself, about how you are a goddess, how you are a queen, how you are able to attract a conscious man or king into your life, or how you are able to experience all of the pleasure, the queen of pleasure, whatever you want to say it. You might know these things to be true in your head, but your unconscious brain doesn't believe it. Otherwise, you would already be living it. Okay? And until you address the parts work, your inner critic, your inner child, what other parts? There's so freaking many. I like to think of them as, I tell my clients this, the throne of the heart. Okay, if you were to envision that you were having this big old party and you had this amazing round table where you've set the stage, you've set places, it's like a big wedding party, right? And they all have name cards on them. And at this party, you've got all of these guests that are going to arrive at this party. And these guests start to arrive. You have put in the time, you've put in the effort, you have put their name places in the place that they're to sit, right? And you're so excited that they're all coming to visit. Now, some of these guests, you're kind of just acquaintances with. You're not even really sure about them, but, they might know other people that you know, and you thought they might be just fun to play with. So you invite them over to this party. And you start to open the door as one guest arrives, the first guest, and you let this guest in. You show her the seat at your dinner party table, and then the doorbell rings again, and you go bring in this other guest that you're like, oh, this one's interesting. I don't know who this is. And then you start to bring in all of these guests. And if you could imagine at this round table that each of these guests were a different part of your consciousness, okay, your inner critic, your inner child, the inner nun inside of you, the judgy McJudge face, the self-doubt, the shame, the disgust, the guilt, the fear, the inner wounded masculine, the inner wounded feminine. So all of these parts of you have a place at the table, and you have unconsciously given power and authority to choose how you show up in your relationship and sex life to different guests at your party at different times. However, at this table is one throne. This is higher self. This is the higher self within you. This is the seat of your consciousness, the one who chooses who gets to hold the power and who gets to decide. And until you step into queen, until you step into recognizing that you are the motherfucking queen of your life, you will continue to unconsciously give your power away to these wounded and unhealed and unintegrated parts and pieces, these guests at your party that you created at some point in your life to keep you safe. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds so bizarre because you're like, why in the world would I ever have created an inner critic? The one who judges my breasts all the time, or the one who says my pussy doesn't look right. There must be something wrong with me. Why would you ever create a voice inside of you that believed and said those things? Because at one point in your life, it served you. That's why. It served you to protect you. I know it's crazy, but it's true. And if you really sit with that, and I encourage you to do, then you will probably find that truth for yourself, that at some point you created this guilt to keep you safe, or you created this shame around your sexuality or your body to keep you safe, to make sure that you get loved, to make sure you belong, to make sure that you would feel safe and you're in the family that you grew up in. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you have all of these crazy guests at your party. You did create them, but you don't have to listen to them anymore. And this is why energy healing, to think that an energy healer could just go on and, do some body work or, do some energy work on you, and all of a sudden you'd be in right relationship with all these parts of your consciousness. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that that would be the solution to the issue. The solution to the issue is learning to be in right relationship to these parts and pieces, to stop judging the relationship itself, or that part of you itself, to stop judging the judgy part, to stop judging the shame or the guilt or the fear or the disgust or the inner critic or the inner child, to stop judging those parts of you, to welcome them in with love and acceptance. Because once again, the only thing that ever heals anything is love. Okay? The last reason that energy healing is not going to fix your sex life and relationship is because this doesn't teach you communication and connection skills or sex skills. Okay? Communication and sexual skills and connection skills, intimacy skills are learned skills. There's no amount of energy healing that can teach you these things. There's none, okay? You actually have to learn how to communicate in a long-term relationship. You have to learn how to hold space for your partner to where you witness your own triggers and you don't react to them. You got to learn how to communicate. It takes time, patience, and practice, and a lot of it. Your energy healer can't do that for you. And you got to learn how to connect, how to be intimate with someone, how to take off the masks, show up vulnerably, and share your dirtiest, most shadowy, darkest pieces to be able to know that your partner can hold you in that. Now, I just had an experience with that with my partner myself this past week. It was one of the most beautiful and difficult experiences I've ever had in terms of healing a certain inner child story that I have been working on with my hypnotherapist, okay? And I was in my backyard. I had gotten really triggered that morning. This younger 10-year-old version of myself has been running a part of my life for a really long time. And I've been working with her consciously with this part, bringing the unconscious into my conscious awareness and working with this part to release these stories from my body and from my unconscious mind. And my partner really triggered me one morning. And I call up my hypnotherapist and I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, I'm having a freaking meltdown. I can't do this anymore. I don't know how to change this. This is like, everything is taking forever. Nothing seems to be working, blah, blah, blah. Like nothing is changing. And she guided me back into my 10-year-old self. And we continued to talk with her and have a conversation with her to reparent her, to show her this is the truth. Tilly is 39 years old now and she's not 10 anymore and she doesn't need this anymore. And I was energetically vomiting all over the place. Like I was in a squatting position. I felt like I was birthing a freaking baby again. And I'm just sitting here like in the throes of like my nervous system was completely releasing all of these stories from my 10-year-old self. And I could feel that it was happening because when the nervous system is unwinding and releasing, it has certain reactions. And one of them being, I get really freaking hot all of a sudden. Like I heat up and I'm usually always cold, but I got really, really hot and started sweating profusely. And I'm just like purging, sounding out. My neighbors probably thought I was insane. I don't really care what they think. But it was really loud. And my partner who had triggered me came outside as I was on the phone with my hypnotherapist, and he put his hand on my back, just letting me know he was there. And just knowing that amount of space holding, that he was capable of that, knowing that he was there in that he could see me in my most messiest version of myself, in the most disempowered, unhealed version of myself, that he could hold me through that, even though he's the one who triggered that. But he could hold me in that. Your energy healer can't teach you or your partner how to do that, okay? You've got to do the work. You've got to learn and practice and do this for yourself, okay? So I want you guys to stop thinking that you can outsource your healing to someone else. And even if you decide to work with me, I am not healing you. I am not a healer. No one can heal you. Only you can do it for you. To meet for example, my 10-year-old version of myself with so much presence, so much love, but also with a motherfucking strong as fuck boundary with her. Like, we are done with this shit. We are so done with this shit. And drawing a line in the sand with her saying, no more. This pattern will not continue. You no longer have the power. I am standing up as a motherfucking queen of my life. And I know I'm using a lot of curse words, but this is because this is how much the fervor and passion and how much of a boundary and how firm the boundary gets to be with some of these parts and pieces of you. And when you can meet these parts with love, but also a firmness, and to draw the line in the sand with them, this is when things begin to heal and to change. Okay? So I want you loves to stop outsourcing your healing, or to think that you could ever outsource your healing to someone else. That someone else could just do their thing on you and you could go get a yoni massage and everything's going to be fine. It's not. It is not. Okay? You're not going to get there by doing just those things. All right, loves. So I hope you have learned something from this, that in order to change the course of your sex life and relationship, that it takes a foundation of love, of pure, total self-love, to hold parts and pieces of you that you most hate. And it's so challenging to find and connect with this love inside sometimes. But the more that you practice connecting with the infinite source of love that you are love. That is what you are. And our hearts have become guarded, and we have all of these walls over us to keep us from connecting to that infinite source of love inside. But when we begin to meet these walls and these guards with love itself, with just, okay, let me see if I can just be here with this. What if I can just feel into this and just be here with it until it starts to melt? Eventually, you let those guards melt, and it allows you to open and to receive and to experience this wellspring of unconditional love that you are, so that you can go and meet the parts of you that you don't like and that you judge and that you deem to be problematic in your life, and you can heal and integrate them to create the empowered sex life and the relationship of your dreams. All right, loves, if that's something that you're ready to do, and you are ready to make an investment in yourself in this area of your life. I've talked to many women lately who are not ready to make the financial investment in themselves. You're not ready, okay? You're not ready if you're not able and willing to make a financial investment in yourself. You need to go fix your finances, and then you need to come talk to me, okay? If you are ready to make an investment through the finances as being a commitment to yourself, that you are ready to change this shit. The level of financial investment is the thing. When you make that actual investment, that is the beginning. That is the beginning of the shift and the change. You are telling the universe that, oh my God, I am so showing up at this level of financial investment, and I am going to meet myself, and I am so committed to meeting myself. When you show up with that level of like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money I just invested in myself. When you show up and say yes to that, the healing begins, okay? Then things begin to shift and change very powerfully. But if you're coming from a place of scarcity, lack, worrying about the investment, all this stuff, it doesn't help. It does not help. Go fix your finances and then come talk to me, okay? So if this is something that you're ready for, I want you to go to apply for Sex Goddess 5 months of total freedom in the bedroom. This is my 5-month program where results are guaranteed. I work with you and potentially your partner for 5 months. We do all of the inner work every other week, 1.5-hour sessions. Your partner can come on halfway through the sessions. You have your member library where you're doing all of the embodiment and nervous system rewiring techniques, the jade egg stuff, all on your own in between our sessions. You get Voxer support with me in between sessions. You and your partner have access to my Epic Sex Blueprint where you have 10 sex date nights that you're going to go through the course of the 5 months. And all of that is there for you. So you can head to the link in the show notes to check that out. And if you're ready to make that financial commitment and investment at a high level in yourself, I am a top 20 sex coach in the world, and I command a lot of money to work with me. So don't think you're going to get this for a couple hundred or even a couple $1,000s, because that's not what it is. So if you're ready to make that investment, head to the link in the show notes and apply for the program. And I'm be so excited to speak with you about it, answer your questions about it, and to determine if it's the right fit for you. And don't forget to sign up for the Sexy Feminine Leadership Summit. Oh my gosh, can't wait to see you there. All right, loves. Bye.